So first of all, thank you all for subscribing and writing so many comments under my last video. I have to say that I am kind of hyped about the fact that I wasn't that wrong with my predictions for the MV, but more on that later. Now let's take a look at the birth MV, shall we? The MV starts out with Heejin running away with her bags in this scene that looks kind of like the scene from Sweet Crazy Love. This switches to one of the girls standing in front of a castle. If you look closely, you can see that there's this red/pink outline on her. Now, who is this girl and why is she standing in front of a castle? So, to me, this is not the goddess that we can see in the rest of the MV and in the teaser, but one of the members. And why that? Well, the members also wear this outfit, kind of like in a cult where everyone wears the same outfit, and this person has no horn, so it cannot be the goddess, since the goddess has a unicorn horn. And since the outlining is red or pink, this could be either Kimlip or Heejin. Now, the castle could be a reference to the Love Forever MV, and the big castle-like building that is standing in Eden. But it could also be a metaphor. What if this is a depiction of Heejin leaving behind her castle, a bit like she did in the Algorithm MV? And this castle is not actually a castle, but it represents what Heejin and the other Luna members built. She is leaving behind her home, her planet, maybe even her timeline/Mobius strip. But again, in one of these shots we can see this blue colored circle on the member, so this could also be Jinsoul, but I don't know. And also the sun is looking down at us in a creepy way. I don't know what that is about. Before it was the day with the sun, and now it is the night with the moon, which, dare I say it, isn't a full moon. Now we see this deer thing, and I would guess that this being is a different being from the goddess, since it is not only a deer, so deers are in fact connected to ARTMS, but this is not just solely a deer, since it also has a unicorn horn, cat-like ears with whiskers, a mane that looks like a lion's mane, and it has a humanoid face. So to me this could be a chimera. This is a being that is made up from different parts from other animals. And guess what? This comes from the Greek mythology. Chimera in Greek means as much as goat, but the meaning changed over time. So a typical form of a chimera is a monster with parts of a lion, goat, and a snake. The mythical god Chimera was the son of Typhon, a three-headed dragon, who himself was the son of Gaia, the personification of the earth, and Tartarus, the personification of the netherworld. Examples of chimeras can also include Pegasus, a horse with wings, Centaur, a man with a horse body, or a griffin that has a lion-like body, the head of a bird of prey with a powerful beak, pointed ears, and usually with wings. And there also are Greek gods with the ability to transform into animals, like Zeus does from time to time. So long story short, this to me is a god or goddess. And it is also interesting to me that the sky is in Hassel's green and the ground in Heejin's pink. I don't really know why that is though, but I could imagine this being a callback to Hassel's Let Me In MV, in which she shot herself / an alternate version of herself. So in a way this could also be a copy or alternate version of the goddess, or maybe even an imposter or a shapeshifter. Because to me it is interesting that this monster has a humanoid face. Could it be that this shapeshifter is taking the forms of different animals, and then he meets the goddess and tries to copy her as well? Now we can see the deer from the teaser, and like I said in my theory video, I believe that this points to some sort of parasite that takes control over the girls. Remember how ARTMS is not only known as the goddess of hunt and childbirth, but also of sickness. When she shoots her arrow, she can spread disease. Now we see the birth title, and it goes from blue and black flashes to white and orange. So the colors are reversed, and the audio sounds like it is reversed as well. So besides this being a reference to the flashing by scenes from the Love Forever and Hi Hi MVs, I feel like this either shows us that we are traveling to a different place in the Loonaverse, since this is what it is normally indicating to us, or it shows us that time is rewind right now. So we basically started in media res, just like the Love Forever MV did, and to then go back in time and show us how these events came to be. Kimlip is sitting all alone in the train, while in the teaser we saw Jinsoul with her. Also the light looks purple. We get a quick shot of Heejin when we cut to Jinsoul sitting there all of a sudden. We cut a lot from close-ups of Kimlip, Jinsoul, and Heejin, but while Kimlip and Heejin look distressed, Jinsoul seems to feel just fine. She has a relaxed kind of look. Now another quick flashing shot. This time it is the train going by, which again to me indicates that we are switching realms or universes again, which is also kind of underlined by the purple lights, since Cherry is heavily connected with traveling realms through her eating the cherries and, well, traveling through realms. Now Cherry is being buried underground. I will also explain this later on, but I would just like to quickly acknowledge the fact that she is buried under the scene from the teaser. These flowers/mushrooms are the same. Now we see 5 head plants with 6 trees in the background and a house. Also, this is Jinsoul's color. In all of these illustrations, they often use the colors of the members. We switch from the buried cherry to another cherry that is sitting in the train as well. This to me underlines the 2 timelines/2 ARTMS members theory. This could be a hint at the fact that Cherry, this far in the Loonaverse, was able to communicate with her alternate universe counterparts, like she did in Girlfriend or the Love Cherry Motion MV. Now we see Hustle, and in the background we now see the scene from the beginning, but it is night, and seemingly there is a blood river running by. I don't know if this was done on purpose, but at night the ground is, well, dark, but water reflects the moon, so it would make sense for this to be some type of liquid. It could even explain what Hustle is drinking. You know the story in the Bible where God was so angry at the Egyptians that he turned all of the water in their rivers into blood? Nowadays it basically is one of the signs that the world will end, kind of fitting. And again we see this shadow behind Hustle, the shadow that could be a Wendigo. At least it kind of looks like a guy with really long fingers that wants to grab Hustle. But quite honestly, it probably is just the shadow of the deer head that is on the wall, but I don't know. Now Hustle lights the candle that is on top of her cake. Maybe her celebrating her last moments on Earth, or her awakening her odd eye powers, since in the Air Force 1 MV the members do something quite similar. This is kind of underlined by the scene burning and the candle morphed into a smaller candle that is sitting on a table. And this is easier to see when you reverse the colors, but the goddess has red eyes, and this one member has red under her arm. If we go in debut order, this would be Hustle. So yeah, maybe they are celebrating her awakening her odd eye powers, which is then underlined by her being the only member with color, since not being able to see oddness is typically shown to us with black and white scenes. Also, there are birds in the sky. This could be crows, who are heavily associated with the supernatural, and of course the end of the world. Or these could be bats or owls, since birds don't really fly around at night, but both owls and bats do. Now we cut another time from Heejin stopping to walk over to Hustle, who sees a flash of light when she suddenly faints. Also, now we have a close-up of the cake and there are 5 flowers. There are flashes of the other circle colors, purple, blue, and what could be red, and then they invert the colors again. This to me really feels like they are hinting at something. If this is the fact that the mirror members are important, i.e. ARTMS and Loossemble mirroring one another, since the screen is mostly in Eden green and orange now, or if this is a hint at the fact that we are really dealing with 2 opposite timelines now, I can't really tell you for sure, but more on that later. Now we see Heejin again. When it cuts to the goddess being, well, let's call it separated into 5 pieces. The background is a night sky and the blood becomes bigger over time, also more on that later. We see more Heejin and a close-up of the goddess head, which kind of creates this connection between Heejin and the goddess. Next, Hustle singing, and we get to see the scene from Jinsoul's teaser. And I was right. Jinsoul really is looking at a goddess. Why a goddess and not the goddess? Well, there is no horn, is there? Now in the drawing we can see a horn, but these are not the same scenes. And this girl has a totally different dress on. Jinsoul is now smiling in this version, but looks a little sad in this one. Just another thing separating these 2 scenarios. To me, these are not the same. This is Jinsoul with an imposter. If you look closely, then you can see that this light being is basically mirroring Jinsoul. Her hair is flowing around, she has almost the same height, and well, she kind of looks a bit like her. As much as a being made out of light can look like a person. But this version of her looks nothing like the version we can see in the Heejin shots, so this being definitely does kind of copy the members and tries to look like them. But again, more on that later. Now a digital version of the goddess being separated into 5 parts, which is a really interesting connection to the virtual angel thing. The title track talks about a digital angel, and now we see this 3D digital model of the goddess. So there definitely is a connection there. Now blood splatters before the video is distorted. The colors and limbs switch around before the goddess explodes. Now they play the scene from the beginning again, but in black and white with a lot of grain. The center color becomes Heejin's pink before the colors are reversed to orange and green. After this, Kimlip comes face to face with the light being. Also take a look at the lyrics. They mention illusions and delirium. Just like I theorized the girls being attacked by these parasites, and this parasite being making them see things, which could also explain why the members seemingly are all sitting in the same train, but they don't even see one another. But maybe instead of it being a parasite, it is more so this light being that is controlling the members. We switch to a volcano eruption and glowing things falling from the sky, before we see this in an illustrated way as well. This flashing back and forth between the meteoroids and Kimlip to me feels like Kimlip might be one of those meteoroids. So what if the goddess took the members from this timeline and threw them into this one? And again, the lyrics are really interesting. Sheds light to my manipulated memories. I mean, again, this kind of underlines the fact that what we see in this MV is not to be taken at face value. Now Hustle is sitting there with her cake in shape again, so maybe a flashback. And we see the meteoroids, so now we see Hustle and the meteoroids in one shot. So these cannot be the members as meteoroids, right? Well, this Hustle cannot be here and there at the same time. So this could be just another thing that hints at the fact that these are 2 different households from 2 different universes. And this really looks like a sea or river now, since the light of the meteorites is reflected off of it. I mean, you know how the ground reflects light and how water reflects light? I guess I don't have to explain this to you. Heejin in the train, but yet again, we didn't see her in the train before. Now, babies. Meteoroid babies to be exact. This might not be something that you wanted to know, but now that you're here, I will tell you nonetheless. So, in the past, people believed that the 2 parts that are needed to create a human, so something from a woman and something from a man, was but one thing. So a man would just put little humans inside of the woman and she would let them grow, but like puts nothing into it. This is also kind of why a lot of people were flabbergasted when the children looked more like the mother's side of the family, because, well, to them, the appearance of the child had nothing to do with the mother. People in the past were really something. You could call this a homunculus, so basically a small human. But sometimes this term is also used for artificially made humans, and sometimes demonic assistants to magical practices. I really don't know if this was done on purpose, but I read way too many things about alchemy after falling in love with Fullmetal Alchemist to not notice this. Because in a way it fits the aesthetic of the virtual angel. Because the virtual and the use of AI are basically homunculi. They are artificially made things that quote-unquote lack a soul, if you want to say it in the way of Fullmetal Alchemist. And guess what? In alchemy, to get something, you have to give something an equal worth. Equivalent exchange is the word of the hour. So who exactly gives what to create these space babies? More on that later. Now the bloody river has also reached the house from before, and there seems to be a pentagram there, but I can't say for sure. But pentagrams are a symbol for witchcraft and supernatural beings, and these supernatural babies are falling down next to the building. Now the earth cherry has spawned a new cherry, kind of like a flower, but while this cherry rises, the other cherry turns into bones. I have never seen something this messed up in a K-pop MV. You can't even imagine how weird it felt to me to write down cherry turns into bones into this script. Now 5 plant people in front of the house and they are bound to the ground. In the words of the YYXY members, you could even say that they are trapped. Now the light being from before, and look up, what is that? A 12 members of Luna OT12 comeback incoming? So yeah, I don't know why they did this, but I would hope for this to be a hint at an OT12 comeback, but I can't tell you for sure. Also, if you look at the light being, you can see exactly what I was talking about before. This being looks not really like Heejun, it is like 3 meters tall. And it also looks nothing like the version we saw with Jinsoul, which to me indicates that this might as well be a shapeshifter. Heejun looks defeated now and as if she was about to cry. When we switch to Jinsoul, who actually is crying, it is as if they just realized something which made them sad. Or in a way it could be a reference to the fact that some people just start crying when they meet supernatural beings, or angels for example. Now the members sit all together in the train. And I have to say, I definitely need to see the behind the scenes video of this train scene ASAP, since this sign in the back seemingly says something about a forest, and I just really want to know what the sign says. Also, we see a close-up of Heejun and Kimlip, and this is also the thumbnail for the MV. This just feels a little weird to me, like why are we focusing on Heejun and Kimlip so much? So there definitely has to be something there. Now we see the shot from the teaser again, and the light at first also only highlights Heejun and Kimlip, the 2 girls who were the first members of their subunits. But when we get a close-up, we can see that Kimlip and Hassel have their eyes closed. So might I suggest that these 2 have a special connection? Well, if we think about it, then Kimlip and Hassel do have a connection. While Jinsoul is shown both in the train and in Middle-earth, I will just call it that for now. And then Heejun is both seen in the train and the running away in the parking lot scenes. And Cherry is seen in both the train and buried underground scenes. Kimlip and Hassel are unique in the sense that they do not really change locations. Kimlip is only in this train until she meets the goddess. And Hassel is only in the house sitting at the table until this scene where they're all sitting together in the train. So maybe they're sharing gloves because they are mirror members in this. One is only shown to us in the Middle-earth and one is only shown in the train scenes on Earth. But both have never seen the other side. They don't know the whole truth. They have closed their eyes since they don't really want to see the truth, which would then explain why they have their eyes closed, not only metaphorically but also physically. But I can't really tell you. And now onto the closing scene that made everyone go, huh? What the f is this? And I will tell you now. Finally, I can talk about it. So, there really are 2 goddesses, the fake imposter one and the real one. The fake one has no horn, and the real one does. The ARTMS in the beginning is shooting a shapeshifter that has a horn as well, but it also looks like a deer, lion, chimera kind of thing. Well, where have we seen a deer before? This parasite deer that I suggested might be a hint at the fact that the girls are taken over could actually be a hint at what this thing is. Maybe it is a parasite imposter thing from out of space that wants to take over the world. Oh, and about the imposter being able to shapeshift, notice how in the scene where she is standing in front of Jinsoul, she is mirroring Jinsoul. Her hair is flowing in the same way and she also looks smaller here compared to the scene where she is in front of Heejun. So maybe she's trying to look like Jinsoul here in order for her not to be scared and run away. And in Heejun's scene she is like 3 meters tall, but she still kind of looks a little bit like Heejun, at least her pose and the hair length. But this could be after she already got what she wanted, so she isn't really trying to make Heejun feel comfortable. Maybe even the opposite. Maybe she wants to scare Heejun by being this tall. So there is ARTMS, who helps the girls by shooting this being. But by doing so, there are these imposter members created. Remember how ARTMS shoots the chimera with a purple arrow? Well, what is Cherry associated with? She is the member that is seen traveling through realms in the Loonaverse most often. So it might be that ARTMS is trying to banish the monster to another realm. But we also need to remember that the MV includes illusions. This is underlined by the lyrics as well, so what exactly is an illusion? Well, now that we have the ARTMS members in the real world and the imposters in what could be Middle-earth, what if the imposter tries to trick the real members into straying from their path? The imposter wants to take revenge and does so by tricking the real members into giving him the power to create his own ARTMS. Remember how the goddess with the horn is shown to be in 5 pieces. This is ARTMS, since she is the one that is shown to us with a horn. Now, why is she dead and who killed her? Based on the fact that these members are trying to escape something and run away, And based on the fact that there is the light being without a horn, my guess is that the imposter is infecting the real world members and made them kill the real ARTMS by making them hallucinate. This could also explain why the members at the end of the MV are crying. They finally see through the hallucinations now, and they see what they have done. They killed the good god and now have to fight against the imposter on their own. And the imposter used the death of ARTMS to create these new 5 beings. The imposter ARTMS members that fall from the sky in the alternate universe. Which is why they're shown to us as homunculi, and then after they fall from the sky, they start to grow the members like flowers. Keep in mind that these members all wear the Lolita outfits. My guess is that these outfits are supposed to help us figure out what is real and what is a hallucination. And all of the Lolita outfit scenes use these drawn backgrounds that are also used for the illustrations, making me believe that they might be not totally true, or at least more so metaphors than anything else. I mean, I don't really think that the members look like this when they grow. They probably don't look like flower beings, but it is a great metaphor to explain to us what is happening. So the Lolita scenes probably are just hallucinations that basically are metaphors for something else. So they grow into people and are taken in by the imposter, also explaining why they're standing in front of this house. This could be an orphanage kind of building, and these girls are taken in, just like the YYXY members are taken care of in Eden. Kind of like the Miss Peregrine's Home for Particular Children or Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters from the X-Men series. So orphanages or schools that take in people with special abilities or powers. And since we now know that all of these girls have odd eyes, yes, also Hazel, because we see her light this candle that is really similar looking to the scene from the Odd Eye Circle Air Force 1 MV. Yes, we have not seen Hazel yet with an odd eye, but I guess I would just say that she has one, because she and the other 4 members are all reborn and put into this orphanage kind of situation. And if she wouldn't have any powers, I wouldn't see the point in making her reborn and using her if she doesn't even have powers. So they are flowers as a metaphor. This lets us know that these are the fake members that were created through them growing out of the meteoroids. Then the picture from the teaser shows us their first time meeting their creator. Here they meet her, and then she takes them to the orphanage, where this imposter presumably takes care of them. Which explains the last scene, where we see what looks similar to a yearbook photo. And this is because in orphanages or schools, they take annual photos. And in this photo, we see all of the imposter members together with their goddess. So this basically underlines my theory. So now we have this imposter that in a way created a new kind of Eden. I mean, think about it. There are these gifted girls that have no clue where they are and why they're there, since they were created by a god that keeps everything a secret. The YYXY members also didn't know much about where they were and why they were in Eden. They didn't know much about their existence. They only knew that there is a god that created them, and this god created their fate, which also means that they have no freedom in their lives because their fate is already decided. Also, some things in the MV just seem to be in the wrong order. I would say that the MV starts with the imposter turning from a white woman to this chimera that tries to infect the members with distrust and hallucinations. Then ARTMS tries to fight back, since she is the protector of the members. I mean, she is called ARTMS and the members group is called ARTMS. And about this, remember how the Air Force 1 MV was all about the Odd Eye Circle members taking back their freedom and creating their own destiny? Then Heejin was inspired by them and did the same, fleeing her fate by running away from her metaphorical castle. ARTMS, and through her the ARTMS project, made it possible for the members to live in freedom and to create their own path. Now in this MV, we see that ARTMS is dead, and all of a sudden the members are miserable and can't escape their fate. They can't run away from their duties and responsibilities forever, which is why now everything is crashing down on them. They chose the wrong path by being passive about everything and just running away, and made it possible for the imposter to infect their minds. Now that they are free from the spell, they see what they have done and try to run away again. But it is too late to run. The light being catches up to them, and the members now have ARTMS blood on their hands, quite literally. Now they have no chance but to fight back, which is why at the end of the MV they are all sitting together, on their way to Middle-earth through the train, to fight against the imposter and their mirror members. Now, let me say something wild. What if this and Loosemble's comeback are more connected than you thought? A Loossemble and ARTMS fight would just be crazy and insane, but also it is the closest thing that we could get to an OT12 comeback right now. Well, but how are they connected? Loossemble have a cute concept and all of the 5 members are together in a light garden with roses? Oh wait, 5 members that are all together in what could be a light version of Eden? Some of them have really blurry, dreamy looking teasers as if they were hallucinating? There are connections to Eden in both Loossemble and ARTMS' case. They are the Loossemble members' colors hidden all throughout the birth MV, which the hint at the beginning of the MV that we should try to invert colors is also underlining. Then there is the whole welcome card to Eden as an inclusion to the Dall Album thing. And there is the fact that these members live in one big hallucination, and these members might as well. Oh, and the flowers on the wall could be a reference to the flower people. It's also the fact that we this far only saw the Loossemble members in the sensitive MV, which possibly could have been one big dream, because Hyunjin woke up at the end of the MV in this space pod, and now the new teasers looking kind of dreamy could play into this. I mean, why does Go-won have red and then black hair in the teasers? Why do the ARTMS members all have blonde hair in the drawings, but at the end we see Jinsoul with orange and Hassel with pink hair? Are we maybe seeing through the lies and hallucinations of the members from time to time? And also let's take one last look at the title, Birth, but there is an apostrophe after it. You might know that it is used after a name together with an S, like in These Are Jinsoul's Shoes. But it is also used to indicate the omniscience of a word, like in can't. Then the apostrophe indicates the omniscience of the word not, since the word can't is basically can not, you know? In the case of the birth MV, there might be something missing, and I think it could indicate that we are missing the point of the title. In a way, we don't even know whose birth is being described with this title. ARTMS, the group, debuted, so this could be described as a birth. The new flower members were kind of born in this MV as well, and the goddess could have birthed them, you know? But we just don't know, so birth with an apostrophe kind of makes sense in a way. Also, I would just like to add the invasion of the Body Snatchers references. To everyone who doesn't know the movie/movies, I think there have been like 3 movies made with this story. But basically the story is quite similar to the MV, but I will let you see for yourself. So, there are seeds floating around in space that all of a sudden fall to Earth. They grow into plants and form large pods. And I will let you know that this is not my wording, this is how these things are described as, which could then indicate that what we saw in the sensitive MV was like one big dream or hallucination, which could then indicate that in the ARTMS MV we also get to see one big hallucination, but who knows. So whatever. These pods then open and a not yet finished undefined raw body falls out, which within a few hours takes on the appearance and all of the characteristics of a person in the immediate proximity. But the copy no longer has any feelings. As soon as the body has matured and the real person falls asleep, an exchange occurs. So you see what I mean when I tell you that there are at least a few connections here? It would also make sense of the reason why we see Hassel sitting at the dining table, while she seemingly at the same time is being reborn through the babies falling from the sky. We don't see her dying before the meteoroids fall from the sky. We only see the goddess die and then we see these babies, so these babies have to be separate from the real members. Also a little jump scare warning, but in the movie from 1978, there's this famous scene with a dog having this human face. And does this kind of remind you of anything? This also made me think about the movie The Thing, in which we also see a shape-shifting monster that uses these grotesque forms to hunt down a team of researchers. Oh, and the cover kind of reminded me of the Jinsoul scenes. And while we're at it, them having blonde hair and wearing the same outfit also made me think about the Village of the Damned movie. Long story short, it's also about an alien invasion where on one random day everyone in a village falls unconscious and 2 months later every woman in the village is pregnant. Then all of the women give birth after only 7 months and the kids get born on the same day, with white hair and strangely captivating eyes. But as they rapidly grow, they also develop telepathic powers, connecting them to one another and making the town people scared of them, since they kill townspeople and read their minds. Most importantly though, they are a hive mind. That means that they kind of share one consciousness, since they all stem from the same identity. Kind of like this one goddess creates 5 parts that are still part of her, but also become something new. While I don't know what inspired Digipatty and Jaden Jung, I could imagine them being at least a little bit inspired by quote-unquote older movies and horror tropes. So thanks for watching this video, and tell me if you noticed any other horror movies being referenced in this MV, or if you have any theories of your own. Thanks again for subscribing, and if you liked the video and haven't yet, then you can like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.